to 10 Life Community podcast, where we dive into the heart of our local community. It's wineries, restaurants, business, and real estate. Hi, I'm Troy Anderson, your host, along with my co-host Pamela here behind the wheel. We're here to bring you a new perspective on what's happening in our community. This week we have a special guest, April Bettinger, owner of Nip Tuck Remodeling. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Right, did I mess your name up?
No.
Oh, good, good. I'm famous for that.
We're off to a good start.
There was always a moment there where you were practicing beforehand and we're like, he's gonna do it. All right, well, okay, so let's just dive right in. As everybody knows that's listened to the show before, we always have our Sipping on Success. Is our first segment where we open a bottle of something delicious, usually wine, which it is this week, something local, either from Woodinville or the Washington area. What do you have for us this week, Troy?
So I have got a wine that's kind of off the beaten path, per se. It's called City Limits Detour, and it's put out by Morgan Lee's the winemaker, and he's the main winemaker for Covington Cellars here in Woodinville, and also two vintners. And this is a third label that I didn't know about until this afternoon.
Oh, wow. Okay,
and so I saw his name on the bottle. I'm like, I'm going to have to try that, because I kind of pride myself in finding lesser expensive wines that are really good drinkers.
Okay.
So hopefully this is a really good drinker.
I was a little bit confused to start with because I saw the label that said City Limits, and I automatically thought Austin. You know, ACL, Austin City Limits, which is happening this weekend. I was like, why has Troy got something that's not Woodinville? But apparently it is.
It's, I don't think there's a tasting room here. Morgan Lee has his winery over in the Artisan District, which is across the main street from us here, adjacent to the Warehouse District. And I thought the name was pretty cool, City Limits, and the thing on the back that talks about it, it says, City Limits is the edge. It's the place where dirt and brush turn to concrete and culture, where farm meets fashion and high desert meets high rise. It's where wine, sun, moon, wind, rain, and a year of seasons find your glass.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Somebody's
I thought it
put
was
a lot
fun.
of thought into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So did you say what kind of varietal this was?
Oh yeah, it is. It's a Bordeaux blend, and it's more Bordeaux dominant. No, it's Merlot dominant. So 85% Merlot, 10% Malbec, and 5% Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay, well normally I ask you why you picked this one, but you picked it because it was something you hadn't seen before, and I like that.
Yeah, and I really enjoy Bordeaux blends. So.
Yep, okay, all right. Well, I'm going to let you guys tuck into it, take a little snifter in the glass and a little taste, and tell us what you think of it and what flavours you are exploding on your tongue. So, are you ready, Troy, or should I just keep talking?
You can keep talking.
Okay, all right. I don't want to keep talking. Okay.
No, it's
All
got. Right. It's a little lighter.
Surprisingly so, considering it's a Merlot blend. But yeah.
I think my first taste smells some cherries.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing.
Cherry.
Okay.
Yep.
The Merlot, and it feels it's darker than a Pinot, obviously, but it's lighter than Cab.
Yeah, this is
It's nice.
It is nice. It's good. I think it's got a good amount of tannins on the finish.
Right. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, we'll try it.
I was ruminating on you guys talking about the cherry, you know, when you put your nose in the glass, and I get that, but it's kind of soft cherry. It's not like that really super tart.
Yeah.
I'm not tasting that on the tongue yet because I haven't tried it, but that bouquet, that, you know, it definitely is there. It's just softer than I was expecting when you said
It's got
cherry.
a little bit of an acidic taste, and then it softens out in the end.
You can feel the tannins at the end, but it really feels, you just opened this. So
That's it, you can feel the tannins
I
at the
think that
end.
it really would be great with food.
Yes.
It's nice on its own, but it wants to open up a little bit longer.
What I found was surprising is normally when I drink a wine, you get that dryness at the end of the mouthfeel, you know, when once you've swallowed it. I felt it was drier as it hit the tongue, and then it softened out.
Okay.
And it wasn't quite so dry, which was quite pleasant, actually.
Yeah.
I quite like that. So,
Okay.
yeah. Soft, it's smooth, it has a little bit of a silky feel to it as well, which I
Yeah.
thought was quite pleasant. So,
It's well balanced.
yeah, I mean, it does need to open up a little bit, but you wouldn't be offended if you had to drink it straight from,
Straight from the
I was
bottle.
going to say straight from the bottle, but that's not really what I meant. What I meant was, as soon as it was open,
We haven't done that yet.
Not like when you're at the Chateau
That's
Saint Michelle for a
classic.
concert and everyone has got a glass in one hand and a bottle in the other hand.
Okay.
Sometimes I get confused.
You do. So you have been known to drink out of a bottle. Oh dear.
Or drinking out of the bottle.
Okay, it's not very classy, but okay.
Yeah, we're keeping it classy out here.
We are keeping it classy,
Yeah.
and we're using glasses. We're using
Yeah.
our Tent Home Team glasses. Well, this is a really nice one, Troy. It's different than what I was expecting, but it's super pleasant, and I think would pair well with food. Anybody want to throw out what they would eat with it, just for fun?
You know, it's kind of a Tuesday afternoon pizza wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, April?
I feel like it could be a grilled chicken,
Yeah.
a marinated grilled chicken
Yeah.
type of wine.
Yeah, I think I would do a sausage pasta or something with it. With maybe I wouldn't do it. I would
Pasture.
pasta.
Pasta?
Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that in my Americanisms for you. Some sausage pasta.
Pasta. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Not
I'd see
a
that.
not a cream sauce, but like a tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, tomato sauce. You're looking at me, and he just wants to say something about the words I say in my accent. You think you'd be
it's all
used to it
good.
by now, wouldn't you? Okay, well, we're going to continue to drink this, and we're going to take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into all things Nip Tuck Remodeling. So stay
Awesome.
tuned. We will be right
Right
back
back.
after this very short break.
Welcome back to TLC, 10 Live Community Podcast. And we're going to dive into all things Nip and Tuck Remodeling with April. And so I guess, can you share a little bit about Nip and Tuck Remodeling? What inspired you to start the company back, I guess, 15 years ago?
Yeah, 2010.
Wow.
And the company has evolved since then, for sure. 'Cause I was actually running someone else's company back in 2010. For about
Okay.
8 years, I had a handyman company that I had run and went through the Great Recession.
Oh,
So, you know, when you have 13 people and 9 vans and 6 of them sitting in the backyard, something's going to have to happen. And so it ended up that I was going to have to go and not be their general manager anymore. So get a job, start a company. And I chose the winter of 2010 to start a construction company in the basement.
Nothing better.
Yeah, it
Not
was.
better timing.
Yeah, it was a really big risk, but it has worked out.
Yeah, I mean, 15 years, that's a good tenure for any business, really. I mean, it seems like small businesses come and go so quickly.
Yes, made it past 3. I think
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what
I
I
was
was
going to
gonna
build
say.
an empire at first. I would have little nip tucks in every city, but then I realized that I didn't want to sell
Franchise.
franchises. I would like to be a boutique remodeler, so
Yeah.
went into that.
It's interesting you mentioned the 3 year there. I mean, I don't know what the actual stats are, but you can look at, like you said, small businesses, the longevity of them, and so many of them unfortunately fail within the first year, and then then there's the next milestone of 3, and then it's 5, and then it's 10, and you guys,
Yeah.
you're at 15. So massive round of applause for you on that one. Before we hit record on this show, you mentioned about the name Nip Tuck, and I don't think we've kind of hit that question. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that name before we dive into the mechanics of what's going on with Nip Tuck.
Exactly. Well, back in those days when I was thinking about starting the company, you can't start a company without a name.
Right.
And so there's a couple of months of what should it be? My dad was a contractor. John Co. Construction. Nope, don't want my name in the company. I wanted something kind of fun, and I wanted it to be, I'm a woman-owned company, so I wanted to be a little edgy. Well, back in that day, Nip Tuck was a show. We'd been talking about precision. Why can't this be done precisely? All these things. And one morning my partner woke up and he says, how about Nip Tuck?
Really?
And I jumped out of bed, went to the Secretary of State. About 10 minutes later, I'd put down my $150, said, that's it. And we were in business. I was known as the Nip Tuck lady for quite a while after
Okay.
that.
That's really cool.
That's fun.
That's a great way to start a business, just on a random kind of thought there. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of dig a little bit deeper. So you came into this industry from what I understand a finance and project management background, which would appear to be a non-typical path when it comes to remodelers. How did that outside perspective help you see things differently and shape Nip Tuck's approach today?
I think it's so beneficial in so many ways because having a finance background is not something that many contractors have. Most of them, the path to ownership is because their back hurts and their knees hurt, and so they're starting out as a craftsman and they work themselves into a business owner. And project management is and finances are just not their acumen. But luckily for me, because I had run businesses and had a finance background and collected money for years from contractors, I came about it from that side of it.
I feel like finance and project management is where most contractors fall down for sure, and that's where you should really start, because you're looking at projects and scope of work and timelines and all that is important, and then where the money comes from and how it comes in and when it comes in to keep things rolling.
It does, because you hear all the stories. It cost twice as much. It took twice as long.
Right.
The
Wow.
casualties of construction, and it was again why it's even called Nip Tuck, is there is precision in there, and it's planning, and you just don't start before you have a plan. You've heard the fail to plan to fail. That is, and remodels don't happen by accident. So that is the philosophy that I started with and we stick with today.
Very good. I like
I've done
that.
lots of remodels, and there's always scope creep and things you don't plan on spending money on, and
So
we've all
explain
watched
the-
those HGTV shows. It's like, oh no!
Yeah, we didn't realize the roof was falling in.
Well, remodeling gremlins do show up,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
gutter might fall off while the remodeler is there. And I swear we didn't go out and take the gutter off.
Right,
But
right,
it says,
right,
pay
right.
attention to me over here. I need some money put into me too.
You used a phrase there that I don't think I've heard you use before. Scope creep. Do you want to explain?
That's a contractor term, yeah.
Okay, explain
when,
it for those of us that don't.
So
know
you
what
have
it
a
means.
scope of work, so you've got a plan, A through Z or whatever, and then there's things that you want a golden toilet instead of a porcelain one, and so the scope of the work,
Okay.
or you want this wall taken out, but you really now you want the ceiling vaulted, so that's
Okay. So again, that comes down to planning. So if you
Well-
don't plan well,
When it happens during remodeling, the words "we've been thinking" are the
That's fair,
most
okay.
expensive words. So when you and your wife go out
Yeah.
to dinner in the evening when the remodel is happening,
Yeah.
and you come back and the project manager is there the next day, and you start your sentence with "we've been thinking," it is the most expensive thing you can say.
I was gonna
So-
say, you see dollar signs though, right?
Well, no. Well, actually, we probably cringe because
Oh.
we know we want to help you, but it's going to take time. So that's why that planning and let's just get all the we've been thinking out on paper before we start. It's a much
And
better
then
plan.
scale back from there. I found that's a
Yes.
better.
so aim
Plan
high
of
to
attack.
start with, and then if you have to, creep backwards instead of creep
Yeah,
forward with stuff.
Yes, it's like a cruise ship analogy. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Yeah.
So, on a cruise, when you're in there and they're not spending any money, but yet you're drinking and going to the boutique and you just charge it to the room. And the very last night, you've had so much fun, but that bill comes under the door. And you're like, wow, this was not fun anymore. I have no money. How am I going to pay this bill? Well, remodeling could be like that if you don't pay attention as you go. You need to not do that.
I like all of those analogies. I just
Yeah.
like to make sure the listeners know what
What
it-
scope creep
Yeah,
means,
we know.
I think
'cause
I
we-
explained it properly.
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I think
Okay.
that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So we understand that your story of founding came out of some challenging times during 2010. So, do you have any experiences that shaped the way you lead and build resilience into your business today?
Resilience is a good word for a contractor. For a realtor,
Yes.
also, right?
Yes, yes.
Resilience. Every day, stuff happens. I think I could take it from when I started attending a peer group, Remodeler's Advantage, and this was way back. You had to sell $1 million in your business in order to be eligible, so you had a team. So I went, and I didn't have very many employees. There was two at the time. And one of the other remodelers, he said something to the effect that had a little bit of a recession mentality
Oh.
because I was afraid to hire. So I had been through that recession, and you're a few years in and there's very little employees. There's no overhead, no inventory. It's like you can't grow if you don't hire. And so it really was a wake-up call to understand the fear of doing that and trust that you could do it. And so now, of course, gotten over that. We have a team of 14, and
Nice. Wow.
it's very nice. I don't have to do all the hats anymore.
Juggling.
But it did. It formed how I thought about business, always with that financial backbone, but then the risk taking that it requires to grow a business.
Well, and you've got 14 people that are relying on you to make things happen for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you built your business on the philosophy of deliberately designed, expertly crafted, uniquely yours. Can you share what that really looks like in practice? Maybe with a project that shows those values in action.
Yes, I think, it's funny because we just recently did a soft rebrand
Okay.
with those descriptors.
Okay.
Because for the last decade, it's been on time, on budget, on purpose.
Okay.
And that represents the Nip Tuck, doing things precisely and on time and reliable. But now, with designers on staff, it comes out, it's easier to say, people think of design as just the pretty things. But deliberately designed means that your house flows and functions the way it's supposed to, and that if you were to walk in there after it's done, say, I can't believe it wasn't always this way. And of course it looks beautiful. And then the crafted part, it comes out in all of our projects when, yes, there's craftsmanship, and that's important, but the crafting of a project is thinking about the design, and it's making sure it's properly planned and articulated and executed. And then the uniquely yours is everyone wants to live in a house that feels like them. You buy a house and it's not you.
Right.
So, when I look at all of our projects and people will tell me, well, I really like that because I can see uniqueness in there. We work for people that want to live in their homes for a long time. They're not getting it ready for sale and doing the important things you need to do to sell a home. They're wanting to full-time live there and make it theirs.
Right. Right.
I think what I appreciate about that philosophy that you've changed from what you had originally, which was brilliant and fine. It encompasses all the things that you really want a client to know about you. But when I read this deliberately designed, expertly crafted, and uniquely yours, it has an elevation feel to it. And I think when somebody's looking to remodel their house, they are looking to elevate just a little bit. And I think that encompasses that quite nicely.
Thank you.
Deliberately?
Yes, that was really the intent. It was really just a matter of how do we up-level this, because we were built on the backbone of I have a project manager and finance brain, so I built my company that way. But as we've evolved and the designers are on staff, and we really do think about things thoroughly and win awards for it, that we needed to up-level that experience. It's not, a budget is more than a budget. It's, if you say it's going to be this, even if it's custom, it can still be that. It may be a different level of budget than others might spend.
Okay, I like that. And especially the last part, the uniquely yours, because who doesn't want their house to feel like it was made, remodeled but built specifically for them, with all of their wants and needs in mind, and their personal style as well, which is, I think, again, super important.
I think people that remodel have lived in their house and they're like, I don't like the way this flows, or I don't like the way this works, or this really needs updating, but I want these certain amenities to go with it. So
Yeah.
I think it's quite special.
A
when you
lot
can do
more
that.
thoughtful than someone who's getting ready for sale or buying a new construction home even.
Well, you're going to put a little, with thought, you're going to put a little bit more into it, and it'll be unique for you. But then, as a professional, we're also trying to take in, it's always the resale value of the house.
Sure.
And it comes up a lot for us, like, is this like, okay,
Is it going to pay off?
let's make sure we're not following trends. We're not trendy, we're timeless.
Yes.
And then yes, we do have an orange kitchen in our portfolio. We did not tell her she had to have an electric orange kitchen, but she really wanted it. It's one of my favorites. But
But somebody has to be bold enough to want to do that, and so that's you listening to what's uniquely
Yes.
theirs in that home, but you're not steering people towards those big flashy ideas that are going to be, a flash in the pan and gone in 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
that particular client, it was the right fit, but for everybody else, you'd be kind of steering them towards something that's a little bit more, I don't want to say classic in the boring sense of the word, but more, like you said, it's going to, if they do decide to sell, it's going to appeal to somebody else as well.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, but without losing that uniqueness. I like it. All right, now you've touched on finances a bit, so I want to kind of talk about trust and transparency. That. And kind of what the homeowners are saying about you. So that's something that really stands out in your story is how often clients talk about your financial transparency. And I think when it comes to remodeling and building, that's always, I think, a touch point for people that they're a little concerned about. Will I know all of the ins and outs and where my money is going? And it, like I said, it seems to be something that people are really saying up front. You're detailed, you're upfront on the planning process. Things like never starting until the designs are done and priced fully. What advice would you give to a homeowners, who is considering a remodel, on how to identify the right partner for them and avoid the common frustrations that you've seen in the industry when it comes to these kinds of planning and financial aspects?
Great question. And I'm actually trying to write a book about that right now called
Oh, wow.
Happiness Guaranteed.
Wow.
And it's finding a professional when you're looking for a professional. There's people that don't want to hire to that level, but the value you're looking for is professional. So it's really about understanding, what do professionals look like? What should you be looking for when you're searching for someone that is in the field that you're going to hire? And in our field, of course, is can they show that they've actually done it? These aren't stock photos. They have real photos of the real things that they have done. Do they have social proof and reputation that stands behind the claims that they're making? And when they sit and show you what your experience might be like, can they really clearly articulate, yes, I say I'm on time, but can you show me? What does that mean? Can you show me the schedule? Can I see it? Do I know? Do you stick to it? I think it's those type of things, and getting away from the I need 3 bids to the I need 3 great conversations type of situation.
Yeah, because I think if you're working with somebody personally, you really need to have a connection point with them too, not just they tell you one thing, but you connect on a level where you can have a conversation and feel free to say exactly what you think you want and feel, and have you be able to bring that to fruition. Can we dig into the financial portion of that just a little bit more? How you show your clients that the financial aspect of what's happening with that remodel, so that they understand everything that's going on? Because obviously, clearly, this is something you do because the people are talking about it. But for anybody listening, what does that look like?
Well, if I also put it in perspective, a lot of our clients, for whatever reasons, are project managers and engineers and finance people, probably because we're so process driven. But what it looks like in our world is, an average scope of work for a main floor remodel might have a 20-page statement of work, and it has 26 categories we have to put together to put the money together, and they're going to see how much each category costs, so
That's nice.
so you can actually understand where your money is going. It's also a guide so that we can make informed decisions before we start tearing things apart, and then you can also, as a homeowner, know where do I have choices.
Right.
Because you can't, if you're going to do what you're going to do, some things cost what they cost, but you could also go into the stone yard and pick a Class D, and you don't even know that it's putting a Tesla on top of your island.
Right.
It can be very expensive, so you need a guided tour, and that's how we do it.
I like that.
And there's another term. I just forgot it.
Well, that's not very helpful, is it?
We're live. Oh, man.
It'll come to you.
Oh, it's scope gap, I think. It's where I've had several contractors give me bids, and it's like remodel the main floor, $150,000. So you don't know
Exactly.
where the gap is going to be there as far as what work is actually going to be done. So
Yes, and
the
well,
itemized.
it's not only itemized, I'll say it's the same way every time, and it is. I have an estimator. Her entire job is to create this scope of work and the numbers, but we're in your house, we're in 6 different rooms, and the demolition section is going to say, in each of these 6 rooms, I'm going to save these things, I'm going to take these things away, and I'm going to put, dispose of it, and so on and so forth in all those 26 categories. So it's really a
So there's no
document.
surprises.
It really does eliminate that finger pointing that the project, are there still things that are missed? Some, yes, very minor things, but not major things.
I like that. Very detail orientated. I think it works.
So, we've heard that your subcontractors call Nip Tuck a unicorn in the business because of how you manage schedules and pay fairly. Why are those relationships with trade partners, your clients, and your team so central to your success?
Well, from the start, when I started the business, there was really only me. I did all the things except for I'm not allowed to touch tools. So I had to have everyone around
Is that
me.
because you're dangerous or because you don't want to?
No, I'm very good with the money and a business and knowing how things look, but you should not have me measure and hang a picture. So that is
I love
not my
I love
thing.
your honesty.
I'm just not. But to find those people and surround yourself with experts that do know how to do all those things, and to be able to work with them and really appreciate what they bring to the table. That's the relationships. That's part of the core values, and it's why if we're always ready for them, and they know what they're supposed to do and it's clear, then they're going to show up and they will do it. And they know our bus runs that way, and if you can't play in that world, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
And it creates a lot of loyalty.
That's good. I mean, subcontractors is my experience has been a little bit like herding cats, and their schedules are different than yours, oftentimes. You know.
Yes. Well, so the unicorn comes back, and my electrician. He sat in front of me one day, and I've known them for 25 years. So they've been with my company the full duration, and then before as well as my tile person. But he said, comes to push to shove on a Friday when Joe, other contractor, calls and he's canceling, and you're calling me and you have an emergency, I'm going to come to your job every single time because you magically are just always, it's on time. I don't know. It does befuddle me. I don't even know how sometimes it happens, but it's very planned out. And
Well,
they
and
appreciate it, and they get paid every week, and it creates great loyalty.
Yeah, and having good contractors is central to success, I think.
Yeah, it takes a whole village to do this, and we're only as good as what they do out in the field. That's why we call them trade partners, and they are partners to our team.
And I've got trade partners in my business too, and so it's always good to keep up a great relationship and use the same people over and over, so you can deliver that consistency to your clients.
Yep, you're not recreating the wheel every time. And I like to call it no dark. Everybody needs an emergency plan, but there's two of everything.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, now you touched on this a little bit earlier on. You are a 100% women-owned design build firm, right? Which is fantastic. And you've carved out a leadership path in a very much still male-dominated industry. There's no denying that. I mean, we see very few. We see a few on TV, but it's not the norm, right? They have contractors or women owning contracting firms. What has the journey been like for you, and what advice would you share with women considering careers in remodeling or construction? Because I think you have a lot to impart, a lot of wisdom.
I 100% do it. When I started my business, I think there was a lot of skepticism. Is she going to be able to do this? Does she know what she's doing? I self-admittedly can't hang a picture, but but I know how to run a business. So I think you just have to really trust in yourself. But really, what's happened over time, and now I speak nationally, and I mentor other remodelers, and but it all came back to my very first month, where one of my mentors welcomed me at the Master Builders, and he says, "Well, welcome to the competition." And then he said, "If you ever need help, don't hesitate to call, and I will help you." So really, I've learned just asking for help all these years. But if there's a lot more women coming into the trades in leadership positions and in ownerships, and there's several in my peer group that are in that situation where they don't have a partner in the business. And I can just encourage people to do it, because it's one of the most gratifying things I've ever done.
Nice.
And once you stand in confidence and actually be just curious about everything, then you'll learn.
Yeah. I think you're the only second woman-owned business in construction that I've met. So there aren't many of you, but you are mighty.
Awesome.
For sure.
There will be more.
Okay, so let's look ahead a little bit. So Nip Tuck has received multiple awards from REX and NKBA honours, and even nationally recognition for your company. What do those accolades mean to you and your team, and how do they influence the way you continue to grow your business?
Well, we're really proud of being recognized that way, and so you don't do it just for the recognition. Sometimes we win awards, and it is so nice for our team to be able to see that not only are they really proud of what they've done and our clients are loving it, but their peer group also respects what they do and celebrates it. So that's, when we're in locally.
I guess I should ask REX and NKBA. I think NKBA is the National Kitchen and Bath Association. What's REX?
The Master Builders Association has a Remodeling and Excellence Awards.
Oh, okay, there we go.
And so
Make sure everyone knows what
All
we're
these
talking about.
acronyms, every industry has them.
I know. But, I think that the thing about remodeling and what we're seeing in awards and all the recognition is that we're not chasing trends, that timeless design and things that are done well and with craftsmanship are always going to appeal to people. But going forward, times change. People can now use AI and do some of their own imagining of things, that we just have to really hone in on that, not chasing trends and being more timeless, sustainable, watching energy and efficiency and technology, and how do we get that all into people's homes.
Right.
Lots of technology today.
Yeah.
Yes, we have
For
a
sure.
lot of tech clients, and so we're charged with that often.
Seems
and
like everything has a Wi-Fi signal these days.
Yeah. Which is great
Yes.
till the power goes out. But
Right.
Note to self: do not get a faucet that is Wi-Fi that only works on the Wi-Fi. And
Oh.
we put one in. Did not realize this.
Oh, okay.
You learn.
I bet that got taken out quickly.
It did.
But
Only
kind of-
works on the Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Didn't have a handle or anything?
Well, no, it has so I had a retired couple, and they put this wonderful, we love the touch faucets, but
Oh,
we
sure.
chose this particular faucet, and they didn't want to hook it up to their Wi-Fi. They were afraid of hooking things up to Wi-Fi, so they wanted to use it without the Wi-Fi. Well, this thing would not work if you didn't actually attach it to the Wi-Fi. So, actually, maybe we did finally get them a guest network and helped them get an IT person to help them, so they felt more secure.
Gotcha.
And then they loved it after that. But
Yeah, that
Well,
can be
talking
frustrating.
About, yeah, for sure. So talking about the future of remodeling. So what excites you most about, like I said, the remodeling as it comes, things progress, and what trends or values do you see shaping the next generation of home design in our region? And of course, you've touched on not doing trends and stuff, and it's sometimes hard to think about the future and not incorporating trends. But are there certain things that are on the horizon that you feel are kind of pivotal, they're exciting, and can change the scope of things to come?
When I go to my peer groups, really the thing that's at the forefront is more focus on the client experience. That it is more and more a technological and experiential thing to remodel. And so that is something that professionals are really trying to grow their companies around, understanding how does that work, how can we serve the community better, how can we help you envision what it's going to be like. And like I said, technology everywhere between, we have put in steam ovens, speed ovens, smart things. We go to the kitchen and bath show that is the hugest home show you've ever seen. And we do this every year and really see technology infiltrating everywhere. And even with all the devices that we have, how can we power them? And now they're built into the countertops on the islands in a little circle that you just charge your phone right on the countertop and it glows while it sits there.
That's cool.
I love the tech, but what about sustainability? I mean, because I know for a while there was a lot of talk about using sustainable products in home building and remodeling. Is that still something that people are focused on, or is it really more about technology?
Oh, they're always focused on sustainability, and we don't focus, the word green is it's wonderful to use we recycle as many things as we can, and we'll use things, low VOC paints, things that make people feel good in their home, good ventilation in your home. Is important, and making sure you do things like that. But to me, almost sustainability is that how are you going to put something in your home that's going to test the test of time,
Right.
and it's going to last, and you could do it today, and 10 years from now you may choose to list your home, but it still feels like you just did it, and it's still relevant.
Yeah.
I think that needs to just be
Well,
Not fast fashion for the house.
now.
15, 20 years ago, we were all like, granite countertops everywhere. And now I was just in my mind at that time, I was thinking someday we're going to be talking about ripping the granite countertops out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's still, now it's quartzite.
Yeah, I was
Mostly
gonna say
people
most of the
really love the
stuff.
quartzite and, and things like that. We still do granite. There's people that love stone and natural things, and those people will always be there. But quartz is really the
It's a
choice
brown
for
and black
most.
I was gonna say
spotty
s-
granite that just
Yeah. Sidebar question: do you think though, if some of those granites were less busy, they would have stood the test of time a little bit more? Just a side question, just because you do when you think
I
of
like
granite,
the ones
you
with
think
unique grains in them. Those are fun.
so the kind of the wider path of the grain,
Yeah.
not that tight kind of
That's
repetitive pattern that
the
you sometimes
repetitive
see.
patterns.
speckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of them that had speckles, and the
Yeah.
quartzes had all the little speckles in it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's very, yes, you can tell that was a 80s or 2000s. Or
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
jaded, and the color schemes.
If you've got granite out there and you're listening, we're not hating on it.
No,
We're just
I love
talking
granite.
about the options that are
I
available.
remember when Formica came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating myself. And my parents put Formica in their kitchen, and they thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, oh my god.
I know I had granite countertops in the house that I purchased, and it had these beautiful OG tops. You know, it was a very beautiful countertop, and it had been done probably 15 years prior. It just unfortunately wasn't my taste. And my husband was like, "What? We're gonna get rid of it." I was like, "I'm sorry. I want it lighter and cleaner and easy to clean. I didn't like that and what happens a lot with those is that people can't see them to clean them.
Right.
Now, some people embrace that. They have children, so it's better because it's not going to drive me
I don't have
crazy.
to see it.
But it
Looks
was hard
clean to me.
clean. Yes.
Oh dear. Okay.
So community, and so I guess in 2021 you launched through Nip Tuck Cares, where your company appeared in the Puget Sound Business Journal's philanthropic, I can say that, giving list.
Philanthropic, yes.
Philanthropic, yes, there it is.
There it is.
Okay, why is community and giving back such a big part of your company's DNA?
Great question. For years, I had really wanted to, we always wanted to give, and we volunteered time through Rampathon and different things that we did. But with the growth of the business, and then with having that, we work for a lot of affluent clients, and we live in a life in abundance, but there are so many people out there that don't. And so finding a way that we can take what we do of building safe and healthy homes, and specifically kitchen, and aligning that with, well, how do we feed the community, and how do we make sure they have housing and that they're safe? And so that's what kind of how it started, and all of the causes that we've partnered with. Some of them, Acres of Diamonds, who's over in Duval. We partner with them for years. In Mary's
Cool.
Place,
Mm.
and this
Nice.
year is Bellevue Life Spring. And I've actually really happy because I've gotten feet on the ground there, and actually being able to volunteer with some of my ladies
fun.
from the One Circle that they actually live in the community, and you don't think of Bellevue being as a underserved community, but there are thousands of children out there that don't
they're
even have
everywhere, yeah.
lunch
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Bellevue Life Spring? I know what it is, but people listening might not.
Bellevue Life Spring, and forgive me if I don't get all of it, but I know that one of the main purposes is feeding children, and they actually have hubs in the school district in Bellevue, and so that kids can go in there and get snacks and have food, and they're really supporting children and make sure that a child doesn't go hungry.
That's great.
And so that's a cause that I've really dug into this year and really enjoying being part of.
Seems to be a lot of that in the community where we live in what we would say affluent areas, and there is so many families that just don't have what the rest of us have. And we, as a community at Tent Home Team, we obviously like to partner with things too, and we've got our bike drive that we do with respect to the Forgotten Children's Fund, making sure, well, you can talk about it a little bit more, Troy, but what are we doing with that bike drive?
Yeah, bike drive. We were last year. We had a goal of getting 25 bikes to the Forgotten Children's Fund, which is an organization that's been around for 50 some years, and they collect gifts and bikes and deliver those around the Puget Sound to over 700 families on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
they have a shortfall with bikes every year, it seems like. So we got on board last year to do the bike drive, and then I took my truck down and drove around on Christmas Eve to, I think, 9 or 11 different houses. I don't know, but it was pretty life changing, to just get out in the community and see that these people are your neighbors.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. I mean, it's people in Bellevue and Issaquah. It's not
Redmond,
just
all
I
over.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not.
And I'm looking at boxes of
Yeah,
bikes
our,
right now. I'm like, how can I get a bike and send it with you?
You can't
We'll
see it on
talk off
camera.
air. It's all on our website, but yeah, people can
Good.
click and ship. But
Nice.
but yeah, just kind of I think it's important for businesses like yours and like Tent Home Team. How can we give back to the community? You're
sure.
obviously doing it with this year it's the Bellevue Life Spring, but obviously you've done other organisations. If we're able to as business people and partners to give back, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah. So looks like we're coming to the end of the show. We
It
usually
always
like to-
goes really fast,
I know
doesn't it?
it goes, we have so much fun. I have so much fun. I don't know about you guys. But we always like to round out the show with kind of a hidden treasure, something, a coffee shop, a park, something local. It can be Woodinville adjacent, of course, but that our listeners might not know about that you enjoy.
You know, recently, I was thinking about this, and recently we went down to the car show that was here a few weeks ago, I think, and afterwards we went over to Vaughn's 1,000 Spirits.
Oh, yeah.
And I had heard really good things about it, but I hadn't been there.
Okay.
And so we went and found out that they had I think it's 75-year-old sourdough, but their pizzas, and I love sourdough, so we had the flatbread pizza, and then we wandered over to Vaughn's Spirits, and we tasted it, and I have to say that was some of the best bourbon I have had out there. It was awesome. So
Cool.
highly encourage it.
And it's not so hidden. That place is hard to get into. You gotta.
Yeah, I suppose it's hidden, but we can hear about it, and you live in Woodinville and work here, but you just never go there. So I thought finally we're going.
Yeah.
It's a great spot, and they're actually our neighbors next door.
They are indeed. So Northwest Spirits, where you went for the tasting,
Yes.
is our next door neighbour. Yeah, we've sampled some of their stuff. It's,
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Definitely love some Vons.
Okay, so if you haven't tried it, you can make a reservation, go to Vaughn's, try out their, I think their pasta, isn't that sourdough as well?
Pasta.
Yes, it is.
So if you like it, if you like sourdough, that's definitely the place to go. And they've got, the burgers are good. You've had their fish and chips.
Everything is good. The fish and chips is great. The fish tacos, the wings are my absolute favorite.
Okay, all right. Next lunch out in, we're going to Vaughn's.
Yeah,
There you
one of
go.
Vons.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much, April. Loved hearing about your journey, and we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back after our real estate roundup, we'll get details from you of where people can get in contact with you and start that conversation if they're even remotely thinking about remodeling. You know, they might not be in a position to do it right now, but never too early to start that conversation. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back. Welcome back to TLC, 10 Life Community Podcast. We're still enjoying our wine. We've had a great conversation with April with Nip Tuck Remodeling. Now it's time to do the real estate roundup bit. Troy, are you ready?
Sweat.
Good. You shouldn't be sweating. Well, actually, you might get a little red in the face on this one, but my job here is to make you squirm. Not really. So every week, every episode, we ask Troy a question about real estate. Sometimes it's a question, sometimes it's a statement. But this week, Troy, there are lots of real estate agents out there. They're all offering help to discerning clients, whether that's to sell or to purchase a home. And as much as I know you don't like to toot your own horn, I wanted to delve into why you are not your average agent, what sets you apart from the pack. So what I'd like from you today, and I know you're going to be uncomfortable doing this, but we're doing it anyway, give me 4 reasons why you are not the average realtor.
Just 4?
Just 4 for today.
Yes. All right. Well, I think, like April does, starting with the end in mind. So starting with your goals and creating a plan is, asking proper questions to get into, what's important to you about either selling or buying, and then, after you answer that question, maybe tell me more about that, diving deeper into the conversation to get to kind of the real truth is what I call it. Because when you just ask surface questions, you get surface answers. And, diving into that, you can more confidently help people into their next chapter, whether it's buying or selling. If it's a first-time home, the things that we might obviously think are important about that. Sometimes, diving deeper into that helps you find the needle in the haystack, per se.
Yeah. Okay.
For the
So
client.
starting with their story, figuring out what it is they
Starting
want.
with their story, yeah. Everyone's unique, and it's it's not all the same. It doesn't always come down to money. When you're selling, it's convenience. It's you don't want people in your house.
Yeah, we've had that.
We've
Yeah.
had that. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
It's like Simon Sinek, you always start with why.
yep. I'm a cynic. Yeah.
Why
from years
now?
ago.
Yes.
What's important?
Yeah, and I think drilling down, early in my career, there was a coach, his name was Joe Stump, and he said you really didn't get to the truth until you went like 7 deep into the question. I don't always go 7 deep, but try and get deeper anyway than I just want to buy a house because I want to create equity. But tell me more about that. What does that equity mean to you?
Oh yeah, because it's future proofing when you ask questions like that too, and it's building not just equity but your future for whether that's your kids or your partners or whatever. It's always as simple as just that one statement, right?
Well, and I think good salespeople ask great questions, not to manipulate people, but to help get them out of their own way sometimes.
No, I appreciate that about you. All right, number 2.
So yeah, just handling all the details. I've done this rinse and repeat, over 1,000 times. So making sure that all the details are handled, and every transaction that I do, they're not all the same. So custom tailoring those to just making sure that the paperwork's right, of course, that we hit all the deadlines, double checking the title insurance, just this kind of the mundane stuff. And then we have a program called Buy Before You Sell, where we partner with bridge lenders. We offer unique products to where that someone, it's always kind of a challenge to figure out how to tap into your equity of your house and buy something else before you sell. And selling and then buying at the same time is a challenge.
Stressful.
You can't really move at midnight, so you have to know how to negotiate that, whether it's selling the house and allowing the buyer allowing you to stay in the house for a couple of weeks while you move and transition to your new house, or whether it's getting a bridge loan. So we partner with people like that, and we have experience with that. Our renovation program, where we can come in and if you need paint and carpet, just some minor tune-ups, we can do that, and we can get paid at closing, so you don't have to put any money out of pocket. We have a moving truck. You can use the moving truck anytime, and we offer that to people who are not only clients but nonprofits. If you have a big Costco run you need to do, you just bought that new sofa, pick up the truck, take it to Costco, whatever you need.
Definitely think that's one worth highlighting. I think that's a big, I don't want to say difference between you, but that makes you very unique, that you have these really well thought out, and we call them, premier concierge services that you're able to offer, that I'm not sure that everybody has or really appreciates, that these things add real value to our clients.
Yeah, and it's just thinking about the little details. Like on moving day, we offer, when you buy a house from us, when you close, you get a moving bucket, and it's a bucket of.
Doesn't sound very
no,
sassy
it's
when
not
you
very
say
sexy,
but it's really helpful.
It has those things that you don't think about, like some extra paper towels, some extra toilet paper, a screwdriver, a door stopper, and just those things that might
Tape
be
measure, snacks,
that might be packed away in all those boxes, and you're like, oh crap, I need this to do this.
Toothbrushes, toothpaste, Band-Aids, yep. I
Yeah,
know because I pack the buckets.
But that's just something a little bit unique that I pride myself on, just thinking about, this, if you throw them away down the road, that's fine. But, they're there, and I've had a number of clients say, I'm really glad that bucket, we were able to use it.
Yeah, and it comes in a 5-gallon pail, right?
Yeah, and you can always use those in the future.
Yep, exactly. Sure. All right, keep going.
I fight for your bottom line. A lot of people talk about negotiating, and there's a lot of discount brokers out there that, the first thing they do is going to discount their commission, and I am just, how's that going to bode well for you when that person who just discounted their commission is working on your $300,000 or $400,000 worth of equity, or even more? How are they going to treat that money? So, I just think that that's important to think about in the experience of the process. That fighting for your bottom line is super important, and that's probably the one thing that you should hire a realtor for.
Yep.
So
basically protecting your bottom line and spotting those hidden opportunities that might go unnoticed.
Right, and it comes down to nuances of contracts as well. You can be signing something that you thought was one way, but it's really different.
Yeah.
Like there's one checkbox on the purchase and sale agreement that I think about, that's, our charges and assessments due after closing. The seller has to pay those before closing. And we have what's called a sewer capacity charge around here. And if you check that box, then the seller is paying that at closing. And if you get someone that's unexperienced with that and doesn't understand, then you could have thousands of dollars just off the top.
Yep. Yeah,
So.
that one can be a little bit of a surprise for people that buy a house.
Yeah, and I've ran into that before where people have come to me after the fact and gone, I didn't know I had to pay this. And I'm like, well, it's actually typically passed on to the new buyer because the portion that's left, the buyer gets the benefit of.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, then
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also a true sign of when you're talking about any industry, but looking for a professional.
Yes.
And when you're consistently giving the service, it has a value associated with it, and for the people that it's right for, it's so value added they wouldn't know what they do if they didn't have it.
Right, and a lot of people, don't know what they don't know until they get into a situation.
Too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Like in your business, I'm going to sidebar a little bit. I see on Facebook, whether it's Woodinville Neighbors or whatever group, I hired a contractor. He did half the work, and now he doesn't show up anymore, and I paid him, 75% of the money. I see that every week, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a common occurrence. It's why we're out here, to be those pearls out there, to be a professional, so that we don't become the statistic of a real bad real estate deal
Right,
or a
and the
construction
same-
project.
Same is true with a real estate agent. I mean, you just look at their experience and get first-hand referrals. Don't just go off of what's online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reputation.
Yep, for sure. And then I'm your resource for life. I'd like to be your real estate agent for life. We have a client appreciation program where we do at least 4 events a year, and gather people back together for whether it's a pie event. We do like a summer barbecue type event. We just had one of those, and then we do a spring cleaning where we do shredding and take your junk, like your old barbecues and mattresses and things that don't go in the normal trash bin. And then we do happy hours from time to time. So, we're always trying to be a resource. And then any sort of referrals for contractors, for painting, for carpet, whatever you need during your home ownership journey. We have people that we know, like, and trust and are reasonable and do a great job. So we like to be a long-term resource for that.
Good. I'll add something to that. The fact that you've been in business for 25 years?
I've been in real estate for 26 years.
26 years.
26
So-
years, and I've been licensed for 21.
Okay, well there you go. You've already, you've been in somebody's life since that first house that you bought or sold with them. So you've been around the block in a good way. You've stuck it out, and you're.
I'm calling old.
Yeah. But what I'm going there is longevity, right? So you're not
Yeah.
somebody that's just, around for 5 minutes and not going to be there for the future. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was a fantastic episode. We've learnt a lot today, I think. Let's give some details of how people can get hold of you, April.
Well, you can find us on the web, niptuckremodeling.com. Call our office, 425-681-7668. My assistant Rachel is the ambassador of client services, and she'd love to talk to you. And you can find us on all the socials, and even most recently, I've become a little more active on Reddit. So if you want to see some real life
Oh, nice.
comments and answers on how I can help some people, come and follow me on Reddit.
Okay. That's one we don't use for some reason. Are you going to
Don't
be okay over there?
Yeah, sorry. I took a sip of wine and it went down the wrong way, and
No.
I'm regretting it. So
That's wine abuse.
that is wine abuse. Never mind, it's your marketing person's abuse, but All right, so I apologise if you could hear me coughing in the background there. But okay, so April, that's your details. Troy,
Yes.
we want to find out more about the market. We want to find out about your concierge services. We want to sit down and have a chat with you. How do I get hold of you?
tendhometeam.com is probably the best spot. You can call, text, or email at 206-504-3660. The email address is online there. But and then our bike drive, more importantly,
Yep.
give.bike.
Yep.
And that's it.
I love that we've
www.give.bike.
making it easy. Click and ship.
Click and ship.
That could have come out wrong.
I know.
Couldn't it?
That was almost a
blooper.
PG.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Thanks.